In this episode of the bonus round, we take a look at the industry and the publishers who put out the game. We're joined by Michael Pachter, Jessica Chobot, and Kyle Bossman to discuss what the big publishers need to do to improve their game, and how Kickstarter might not be the answer.
You can't make the game you want and fund yourself. Like, that's what we learned, is like, you can't.
We take on the industry as the bonus round starts right now. Hey guys, welcome to an all-new bonus round here on GameTrailers.com. I'm Jeff Keighley, joined by Michael Pachter, Jessica Chobot, and Kyle Bossman in his first appearance, Jessica's first appearance as well on bonus round. Great to have you guys with us to talk about the state of the gaming industry this month, because a lot has been happening since E3. And one topic that I think we're going to keep coming back to this month is the idea of the gamer and the sort of the activist base of gamers trying to, create change, as we saw with the Microsoft DRM reversal very famously after E3. Let's talk about that specifically and what happened there. And I think we've seen this increasingly with things like, Mass Effect, with gamers sort of being frustrated with the ending, and then EA made a change. Same thing happened to some degree with Microsoft and the DRM. What was your takeaway from that, Michael? I mean, what did gamers really force the industry to make a change?
I can't believe I'm here with two virgins, but it's good to know.
Well, to the show.
That's what I meant. Get your mind out of the gutter. That's what I meant. I think that the difference, yes, I think gamers forced a change in DRM. And I think the difference between this outburst and most of the other ones that we've seen, it happens about once a month. Gamers find something that pisses them off. Other outbursts happen after the fact. Obviously, you can't complain until you know the bad news.
Right.
Well, you can't complain about the ending to Mass Effect 3 until you finish the game.
Right.
So they already bought the game, and they played it, and they started whining, and I'm actually disappointed in BioWare for coming up with an alternate ending.
Right.
And I don't think anybody was really satisfied with the alternate either. They were just happy that they were listened to.
Yeah.
But with DRM, people were complaining before the fact.
Yeah.
So they heard about it, and they said, I'm not buying the Xbox One. And Microsoft said, ooh, that's tangible.
We got a problem.
Yeah, we're not going to, if we sell 100,000 fewer and we make $1,000, per box lifetime, then we lose $100 million. Oh my God, that's really meaningful. We better fix this. I think that, your question is the right one. I mean, they responded to gamers. I think the sad thing is that they really thought they knew better, and they didn't ask anybody first. And
Well, because Don Mattrick said to me, we did consumer testing and focus groups and things like that, and conceivably some people thought this was the right solution. But Jessica, I mean, we saw all gamers unanimously sort of said, like, we don't understand the benefits of this. And part of it, I think, was a communication thing as well, because I think some of the ideas they're talking about, like your games being digitally available across different devices and things like that, I mean, that's interesting to me. But what's broken with the way things work now?
Well, it was very confusing, and nothing was really clear-cut and announced in a way that everybody could understand. I mean, it was one of those things where, I mean, even now, I'm kind of always checking on it, because I don't understand. Okay, so you're saying that I can't let my friend can play with me on the disc if I bring the disc over to your house, but I can't if I take the disc, or I leave the disc there and I leave his home, and then, well, how do we exchange? But I can play, like, I can share digital stuff. Like, it's all really confusing. And that's not how you want to come out the gate with your new console launch. And, it's a shame that, unfortunately, because I do think that there's a lot of potential there, but it's a shame that it kind of all fell through the cracks.
Well, and I think you raise a great point that I think some gamers now, just feel that there's something off with the Xbox One. And even though Microsoft made the reversal, as you said, why do they have to go through that whole process?
Well, it's a lack of trust at this point. You're spending so much money on these systems. I mean, gaming now is not what, for lack of a better phrase, a poor man's hobby. I mean, if $600 for a system, plus then if you have the internet, you're paying for that, plus if you've got Xbox Live or a PSN account, you're paying for that, plus then every game, $60 a pop. So, I mean, it goes on and on and on and on and on. And so you're feeling, kind of like you're up against the man as a consumer, and that trust level is very tenuous. And when something like this gets announced, when it's such a big deal and it's so confusing and you feel like the wool's being pulled over your eyes, why would you buy that system?
And especially when you've got Sony out there saying, "Hey, we're your best friend." We've
Yeah,
got
I mean
everything
that
lined
viral
up for
video
you."
they had
Yeah.
about share, like here's how
Well,
you share it. I mean that was just.
So Sony obviously had an opportunity there. They exploited it, and now become sort of the gamer's best friend. You can trust us, Michael. A lot of people online, I think, wondered, hey, was Don Mattrick, did he leave Xbox because of this DRM fiasco?
Not a prayer that he was forced to leave.
Right.
I'm certain that he wasn't happy about the fiasco and that his stature probably suffered a bit within Microsoft, but I'm sure they did not say, get lost,
Right.
you screwed up. And if you look at his pay package at Zynga, that wasn't hammered out in a week.
Yeah. Well, Wall Street Journal, I think, reported he was talking to Zynga back in like April, and I mean, it was like this was.
No, he's clearly been talking to Zynga for a long time, and no, I think he was undecided whether he would accept the Zynga position, pursue an opportunity at Electronic Arts, which I think was there as well, or stay at Microsoft. And so it's fair to say that the public relations fiasco helped him make up his mind, but I don't think anybody told him to get lost. I think he was probably ready to go. I think he's ready to be a CEO, and I think the Zynga opportunity just was at the same time.
So Kyle, from the gamer perspective, you experienced it firsthand there, Xbox, PlayStation, how it all played out. Do you gamers, I think now, increasingly, we see it online. I mean, they feel sort of entitled to sort of, express their opinions. And as you talked about
The E word, you said it, I heard it.
It's true. But these gamers, they are going to express their opinions, as you talked about in our documentary about NeoGAF. It's like people feel sort of exactly entitled to discuss where they think the industry should be going. What do you think the takeaway is for gamers coming out of what happened with Xbox and things like that?
It's weird. The entitlement is justified now.
Right.
Now, whenever we complain, like there's a good reason to, because clearly we're listening to. I was thinking earlier when we were talking about DRM about SimCity. SimCity announced way ahead of time, hey, this is going to be an always online game, and people complained about it like crazy. And then it came out, and we still complained about it.
Yeah. Now they might offer an offline mode I saw the weekend.
Is that true?
Like
That was like yesterday.
Yeah.
Wow. See, that would be like that's a really exciting thing. That's a really like, hey, this is working. Our complaints are working. Just being whiny babies is actually effective. Is a really strange thing that's happening just recently. I feel like.
But does it hold back progress at all? Do we think?
I don't know, but I was just going to make the statement that I don't necessarily mind the entitlement or the complaining. It's less what you say and how you say it. That's where I have the problem. Listen, as a consumer, you're spending your hard-earned money. You have a right to have opinions about what it is you're buying. And you have a right to complain to those companies if they do something that you don't like. But there's a way to do it in a mature manner that I think that the gaming public hasn't caught on to yet, that they'll probably get better responses and more respect if they do it in a way that's a little bit more mature than flaming and being nasty.
All right, guys, hold that thought. We'll be right back here in the bonus round.